So Rise of the Ronin just came out. I've heard very mixed reviews. I personally ain't picking it up just because I don't like the way the combat looks, but some people like it. Some people having a lot of fun with it. And yeah, there's this video called 5 Ways that Ghost of Tsushima absolutely clowns Rise of the Ronin. So pretty much they calling Rise of the Ronin Diet Coke Ghost of Tsushima. And I kind of agree from what I've seen, but I ain't gonna say shit. I'm gonna just watch the video. Speaking of Diet Coke, they got this lemon Coke Zero and I'm about to try it. Check it out. Shit bussin', yo.
We must strike together.
All right, let's see if they spitting facts or they not.
Rise of the Ronin borrows liberally from a lot of games, from developer Team Ninja's own Neo titles to Sekiro Shadows Die Twice and its parry-focused combat. The action RPG takes elements from a number of games and combines them into its own take on things. But the game that it probably has the most in common with is Ghost of Tsushima.
I would have assumed Sekiro, but I know no knowledge of it, so.
Protagonist and a similar open-world loop. Rise of the Ronin overlaps with Sucker Punch acclaim action-adventure game in a number of different areas, though more often than not, that comparison doesn't work out in its favor. Team Ninja's newest game has its strengths in some areas, from its combat to the slick traversal mechanics, but in almost all ways that it attempts to emulate Ghost of Tsushima, it ends up falling short quite significantly. Here,
oh no, so when I said I didn't like the way the combat look, it's just I'm spoiled by how Sekiro's combat is, and I fuck with Ghost of Tsushima. I've only played it one time. I love the combat there, but Sekiro's combat is so perfect to me. So I'm picky when it comes to like gameplay in the way that like hits land in games. And here, it it just don't look that good to me.
We're going to talk about a few such areas.
Ghost was like amazing, yo. It's hard for me to play open world games over again, but I will probably go back and play this eventually. I still haven't played Icky Island either. I just played it through twice because I accidentally deleted my old save and had to start all over again.
First open world game, and in a lot of ways, it's very easy to see that, even if you don't have any familiarity with the developer or its past projects. Its world design feels quite dated, not only because it's very by the numbers, checking things off the list sort of open world experience, but also because the things that you're doing themselves are very rarely all that interesting. The combat and traversal manage to remain fun, sure, but from the actual objectives of the side quests and activities and how little the game tries to contextualize them in any interesting way, it's hard to get invested.
Well, for me, it's when you release your game as an open world game for me, and I've said this many times before in my other reactions, I'm very critical because open world don't mean good. Like back in the day when I was a kid, I used to say, oh man, give me every game open world. No, not every game needs open world. Like a game like Elden Ring, the open world is it gives you some of the best moments because it's open world, but then some of the weakest parts of the game is because it is open world. So you do take a big gamble there when you do drop an open world game, especially for a game like this where do you really need open world?
That last bit can be crucial in open world games, how they contextualize their activities. Many of Ghost of Tsushima's activities are, on paper, pretty rote, but the game throws in an abundance of unique wrinkles to make them stand out.
Facts.
From following torii gates to chasing after foxes and birds.
That was so fun.
Then you have the more unusual type of reoccurring side activities, like writing haikus. And
these were a
bamboo,
bitch, but I did like
do an
most of
excellent
them.
Job
So
of giving the game and its open world a very distinct flavor. Immersive setting.
Yeah, no cap. Yeah. Parts of Ghost of Tsushima, I was just vibing with the world. I didn't care. I was most of my time playing it was just me. I am in Japan. I am on Tsushima, you know. So I'll give y'all that. Cause Rise of Ronin don't get me like that.
Open world pales in comparison to Ghost of Tsushima is how it doesn't feel nearly as alive as it should.
Good ass coat,
even
bro.
in the supposed hubs of civilization.
It's on look. I'm gonna be real with you. Like I need to finish Red Dead Redemption 1 eventually. I did play 2, but like you see that horse animation there when it's running.
Nearly
Not
as
that
alive
one.
as it should.
Rise of Ronin.
Even in the supposed hubs of civilization.
It looked like the horse animation they used back in Red Dead Redemption 1, but it looked better in Red Dead 1. That's what I'm saying.
Crowd
you know,
density is always sparse.
Animations just ain't hitting.
The animations and behaviors of NPCs feel static, and the world all around just has this lifeless feel. For a game that's trying to immerse you in its period Japanese setting,
why is running like
those
that?
feel like crippling issues. For instance, first laying eyes on Yokohama in the early hours of the game is quite an exciting moment, as you dream about the prospect of exploring this dense, bustling city, but it quickly becomes apparent that the game comes nowhere close to realizing that vision. Compare that to how successful Ghost of Tsushima grounds you in its world,
Beautiful.
how dynamic and alive every inch of its map feels, and Rise of the Ronin's deficiencies seem even starker in contrast. There's an incredible amount of visual variety to be found across Ghost of Tsushima's
Exactly,
open
the
world,
yellow
and
forest,
no
the red
matter where you
forest,
find yourself in its massive map,
the burnt
it
places.
never feels to feel like an alive, gorgeous place that's brimming with its own unique personality. The fact that we take the game's ability to immerse you in its settings for granted should tell you all you need
I don't know
to
why I
know
did
about
that,
how
my fault.
effectively it does so. Art style.
All right, now I'll say before you say this with art style is subjective as hell because I just finished the 1997 Berserk, and I don't see myself watching any of the 3D rendered ones, but like some people prefer the 3D rendered ones, so that's like subjective. So I'm just saying that before you get into it,
Finish what
because I
I
prefer the
started.
1997, like I said.
Tonight, my husband and sons rode to face the Mongols. The assassins came to our home. My
It's
sisters
just
and
beautiful. You
children
can't really get over it. I need to replay Ghost of
This seems
Tsushima.
almost like an unfair comparison because, let's face it, there are very few games in existence that can hold a candle to how gorgeous Ghost of Tsushima looks.
Yeah,
So much
exactly.
of which is down to its stellar art design. To be clear, Rise of the Ronin is not a bad-looking game by any means. Even if it is technically a little rough around the edges, it does
Yeah, it's
have
mostly
solid
the
art design in
animations.
its own right.
It's
And
mostly
from the
animations
open
that look
plains of
rough.
its map to the more densely populated locales, it does present you with
got
some
on PS3
impressive sights
animations.
from time to time. Ghost of Tsushima is, however, just a non-stop roller coaster ride of some of the most visually arresting vistas that you'll see in a video game ever. It's a game that makes excellent use of color, of natural vegetation, of lighting, and most importantly, of wind. And all of it combines to create what might be among the most distinct
This man
and
just said
memorable visual
vegetation.
identities a game
I
could
wasn't
ever
even thinking
hope
about
for.
that when I was thinking about Ghost of
Playing
Tsushima.
Rise
I don't
of the
remember seeing no
Ronin,
fucking
it's clear to
vegetables in
see
there.
that
What
the
you talking
game
about, bro?
does take plenty of cues from Sucker Punch's title in the art design department, but very rarely does it even hint at that level of excellence.
I don't know. Okay, hear me out. So this is just another critique. Like I just be a game critiquer now. When I see HUDs like this, right?
Design department, but very rarely does it even hint at that level of excellence.
Like it's just I don't know. Like there's just so many games that do HUD so much better. Like no blinking red light. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a blinking red light, but it's just something about it that just look like budgeted shit. It looked like a HUD that you went to a gas station and bought and just slapped on your fucking game. Like, I don't know. I feel like if I'm gonna play a game, a samurai game or a Ronin game, I'm gonna just go to Ghost of Tsushima or most of all, I'm going to Sekiro because I don't know. And that's not to say that you can't have fun with Rise of Ronin, but it's just like why would you play it if they're superior and they ain't really bringing nothing new to the table? That's the only reason I ain't got this game. Because when I first saw it, I was like, oh shit, there might be a new one. Then I saw some shit and I was like, never mind. I don't know.
Storytelling.
Maybe I'm just stuck. All right, this is unfair. Okay, they had a good ass story. This list is kind of unfair, no cap, because they just Ghost of Tsushima had a fucking better story than a lot of other games, so they kind of unfair with this one. I get it, but they, you know, this motherfucker demon, yo.
I am Jin Sakai, nephew of Lord Shimura. I have come to avenge his honor.
I'm
Team
so
Ninja
tired of
games
that
have
word
never
honor
been
after
known for
playing
their
Ghost of Tsushima,
storytelling,
though.
Nor has the developer ever really claimed to place much emphasis on that area in the vast majority of its past titles. This, however, is one of the several ways Rise of the Ronin differs from Team Ninja's previous games, in that it does place much more of its emphasis on story and storytelling. But though there's definitely more storytelling in the game, it's not necessarily better. Whether it's the stiff
I mean, you can't
interactions
really
between
expect
characters,
it
the
to,
clumsy
but yeah,
exposition,
sure.
or the subpar voice acting, the game stumbles in too many ways to be able to come anywhere close to doing justice to what's otherwise an interesting narrative premise on paper.
Someone just doesn't know when to quit. It seems you might also have a story to tell.
Whoa! Why he say it like it seems that you might have a story to tell? What the fuck?
Seems you might also have a story to tell.
To tell.
Now, Ghost of Tsushima
Also, I drink a beer like every time before I do a reaction, and I just don't be eating nothing with it, so I just be extra loopy for no reason. I'm not a lightweight though. Y'all should see me on the
From a
absinthe.
number of clumsily written side quests to pacing issues with the main story from time to time, it does have its flaws too. It is a game with incredible high highs though. Every so often, Ghost of Tsushima hits you with these unforgettable moments that elevate the entire experience to new heights. And the end result is a game that does more than enough to make its mark with the story that it tells, and how it chose to tell it.
Okay, I'm gonna be real with you, right? I'm gonna be completely real. I fucking hate the new Assassin's Creed games. You know why? Cause they broke the fucking cycle that I loved. I love the old Assassin's Creed, yo. Even though if there was flaw, I don't really care. I loved it. I love that. And you know what? Ghost of Tsushima did what the new Assassin's Creeds don't do. It felt more like a fucking Assassin's Creed game when it came to stealth. Yeah, nothing is wrong with being able to kill anybody instantly from stealth. Just pull up behind somebody, pull them in the bushes, or jump off a building and stab them. I missed that. So yeah, Ghost of Tsushima had great stealth.
Stealth plays a bigger role in Rise of the Ronin than it has in most Team Ninja games in the past, and it can be plenty of fun from time to time. Assassination feels visceral, especially special variants like double assassinations or air assassinations.
Okay.
While using your grappling hook to pull an enemy towards you before instantly killing them never gets old. The game
But you
suffers
missed
from
though.
some
Why would you put that in the gameplay?
Instantly killing them never gets old.
I'm sorry.
The game suffers from some very blatant AI issues though. Enemies are either spectacularly hard of hearing or have incredibly short memories, or just awful eyesight, which means that stealth sections very frequently lose any and all tension. Ghost of Tsushima's stealth is pretty rudimentary for the most part too, but it fares far, far better in its execution.
Yeah, it's fun.
It
It's
would be
just it's
unfair
simple
to
and
give
it's
the leg
fun.
up over Rise of the Ronin in this area based on the far greater amount of options.
Like
and
for
tools
me,
that
it's all in the
players
animations when you
stealth,
assassinate
given
is
the fact that
satisfying.
It's a significantly more stealth-driven game. But even if you're only looking at how these two implement their core, most fundamental stealth mechanics, Ghost of Tsushima comes out on top. Hey, did you know that?
Honestly, bro, video wasn't even that fair because it really just picked shit that Ghost of Tsushima is done better than a lot of other games. I get the comparison, but really we didn't really learn nothing we didn't know here.